It's a delight to have us to talk sports in London. I'm Austin.
And on the show today, it's a loaded package because the Super Eagles of Nigeria, 6 points. After 2 games, they are having 6 points after beating Cape Verde by 2 goals to 1. A sumptuous own goal actually helped the Super Eagles for that victory. And also, we'll be talking about the Paralympians. They've returned home. The second batch, they are already home. And we're talking about just a kind of a review of what went down. And also, the Asha Buhari's Cup that's supposed to kick off on the 13th. There's a new date, which is the 15th of September. Of course, it will still end on the 21st. And the reason being that, most of the teams competing, they want to have their best leg around. So that's the reason they've shifted that. Also, we'll be taking a look at the ITTF African Cup that is taking place in Cameroon, where Nigeria won a gold medal in the team's event. But then, in the singles, Omar Asa, I don't know Quadri well. He had to go the way of Omar Asa. It was a 4-2. It wasn't a good one for Arnold Quadri. He lost to Omar Asa again in the finals just this evening. And of course, take a look at World Cup qualifiers and the fact that the World Cup will be hosted every 2 years. Some countries are agreeing. But in Europe, in UK, and even Gareth Southgate is lending his hand and saying that, look, they cannot have that. These are many more on the program. And NNL, the most important league in Nigeria, will also be talking about that, Austin. So it's a loaded package this evening.
I know. I know you were going to go there with Nigeria, talking about the NNL. Well, it's good to be on the show tonight again to take a look at what's going on in our exciting world of sports. The Super Eagles of Nigeria, Cecilia has said, I don't know if I'm wrong, that they were lucky. And some fans came at me that they weren't lucky. And I said, look, Cape Verde almost scored 3 goals today. But then a win is a win. They're now top of Group C, firmly on top, and then this might just motivate them as they get ready for match day 3 and 4 in World Cup qualifiers in October. Good win for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the one that they've described as a makeshift team. So much to talk about tonight on the program. We're going to do justice to all of that, Cecilia.
Absolutely, and of course we'll not be doing all the talking alone. In Lagos, of course, I have Kende Idris. He's back here on the starting lineup. Wasn't available last week. How are you doing?
Exactly. The shirt was missing, but it's good to be back. And the sumptuous lineup, I think, is so mouth-watering. When they say the world of sport never sleeps, when you reeled out everything, it's like, wow. It's still very, very mouthful. Always so much, always so much. And the Cape Verde match, I think it can be rough, but the end point is always the most important.
Yeah, 3 points. Yes, we'll take it. We'll take the W and move on, right? Austin, of course, who do you have right there? I mean, we'll also be joined by former international to talk about this game between the Super Eagles and Cape Verde.
Okay, what's Cape Verde? And everyone thought that it was going to be easy for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, but it didn't look that way today because, yes, football can be like this at times. So now joining us on the program is ex-international Verde Akoni. Verde Akoni, back in the day, was a sweeping defender. I don't know if he can sweep the ball anymore, but Verde will join us now to talk about that match between Cape Verde and the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So if he's ready, Verde, good evening. Welcome to Sports Tonight.
Good evening, everybody. It's always a pleasure joining you guys talking sports.
Awesome. Why I said that the Super Eagles of Nigeria were lucky, and some fans came at me. Were they lucky tonight against Cape Verde?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I think in football is what's called digging it. You have to just dig out the win. It was a little bit rough and tough. Looking at the turf they played, it was an artificial turf, and of course they have to dig it out. So when you play such a game, whether you call it lucky or digging it, you just have to dig out a win, and that's what Super Eagles did tonight.
That's right, because I looked at it and I said a win is a win, and now they're on top of the Group C table with 6 points, and that's good motivation. What was outstanding for you in that match against Cape Verde?
I'll be honest with you, I think the coach showed some kind of consistency with the formation he played. We didn't have the regular starters, and then he had to come in and bring in some new players. He maintained his formation. He had a defensive midfielder He had another offensive midfielder, and of course he had Ahmed Musa that was running up, trying to support Osimhen. So the fact is that he has just shown that he can also play with some set of players, which means that we have a backup team that can always play when we don't have the likes of Iheanacho, the likes of Ndidi, and all those guys that plays in UK. So for me, I think the coach has done very well, coming up with a different players and then maintaining his formation. So that's what I take out from the game today. The coach did very well.
Okay. All right, absolutely, he did very well. Now, the question of we not having the UK best players, that was what was on the lips of everyone, and he just touched down on it. Are we now going to be afraid if we don't have some key players that we can't really prosecute again? Because this game was really a lucky one, no matter what anyone is going to say. If not for that own goal, we're like, where are we going to get the second goal from? Yes, Osimhen had some chances. They missed about more than 7 shots on goal. But at the end of the day, what happens now is, if you don't have the crop of those players, it simply means you can't even beat a team like Cape Verde. So it's kind of a worrying signal for me in those qualifiers.
Well, I think to some other persons, it might be worrying, but to me, I don't think I'm going to get worried, because you know what? Whenever a team like Super Eagles plays, and you have these, young boys on the field, what they need to do is to know how to play together, and that's what they're learning. They are trying to play together. They're trying to learn each other. The way each other plays, and of course, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who we play. We played Liberia the last time. People complained a little bit. We got a win. We played Cape Verde today. They got a win, and that's what they've been doing. I remember the last qualifier as we played. The last 2018 World Cup. The same thing people say, but this coach knows how to win. So for me, we have to just wait until we get a superior team that will play, that will be Super Eagles. For now, what they do is that they get out there, they play together. Whatever it is, they find a way to win, and which is always very important.
Well, most fans and most pundits I've spoken to, they're actually looking forward to the days whereby the Super Eagles, whenever they want to play, everyone, are eager to actually watch the game. Right now, I will tell you that about 45% of Nigerians don't even want to see Super Eagles play again because they don't enjoy the game as they used to. What can Coach Genedro really do to bring us fans back to, that eagerness to really want to watch Super Eagles play? Because it's like we're losing it right now because of the style of play that we keep saying.
Well, you have to look for, individual players must take up responsibility. That's the only way people will always want to enjoy Super Eagles play. Back in those days, you can bring out individual players that will come out of games and then do very well. I don't want to start mentioning names, like JJ, Kano, a lot of those old players, whenever they come out to play for Super Eagles, you always have to come out and showcase your talent and then make sure that you do very well. These Super Eagles, I'm not of the opinion that they're not good. I'm of the opinion that they're learning every day.
Okay.
But for fans to believe in them, they must be winning games. Imagine if the team wasn't that very good, but of course they still went out individual efforts from those players to come out and play very well. GK, and then you want to see that kind of player play on the field every time Super Eagles play.
Let me take the discussion to the department, Waidi, where you are an authority, the defense. When you look at our defense line, particularly what we have today, are you impressed? Oh, I think we're losing YAD. Hopefully we get to connect again and then we'll continue the discussion. We're reviewing the match between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Blue Sharks of Cape Verde. It ended Nigeria 2, Cape Verde 1. Let me talk to Kende Idris now while we wait for YD Akoni to reconnect. Kende, let's take a look at some of the guys that replaced the UK players that were missing. Chidera.
Defensively, I wasn't good.
Okay. Okay. I think we're losing YD's. connection. Maybe you just need to reconnect again. So let's go to Lagos now. Well, let me get Kende Idris talking. Kende, I want to talk about the guys that we saw today replace some of the guys that play in the English Premier League and in the UK that couldn't, make it. Who got you talking? I thought Chidera Ejike showed some brilliance. I don't know about you.
Yeah. I totally agree. He showed some brilliance, especially manning up. I think one of the problems we had is who would take the bull by the horn, who would be that man that would be so fearless to understand that, okay, probably the regulars or the big boys in the team, talking about the first 11 or probably the most reliable, substitutions are not here, and then I get this chance, and then I step in. I think Ejike did a lot of good. Also, I saw what Awaziem was able to do in that game, and I saw some maturity. Probably we're beginning to understand that maybe it is time some games would be left for the other 11 to just get them playing always. It seemed like we're going back to those years where listening to Olise talking about the 1994, the 96 squad, saying even on training days, the way we play, we understand if you don't perform well, there is somebody on the bench that will seamlessly, comfortably take your place, and it will seem like you never left the team. Maybe this is where we're getting to. And we talk about this always, where we have so many exciting guys. Yes, some people will say maybe they're overrated and all of that. But on the average, these guys can play good football. And we saw it today. You mentioned Ejike. I'm mentioning some other names like Awaziem. I think I was really impressed. Jamilu Collins showed some brilliance. And then you can go on and on with some of the names. So it is fantastic, really. Maybe the result for me is not even what I'm particular about. I was scared of what Cape Verde could do. I watched them play, and I think this team is as brilliant, and we saw how so many times they came at us squarely. They understand we've got a chance to win this, and they went on to be a problem. But the boys, over time, I think after the first 15 minutes, the balanced team started regulating the game, and it was beautiful from there.
Awesome. Let's get Waidi Akoni talking again. Hopefully the network will be better. Waidi, I was going to take the discussion to your department where you are an authority, the defense line. The Super Eagles defense. Are you impressed with what you saw today?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't too impressed. The communication between the goalkeeper and Awaziem and
Kenneth
Omeru. Defensively, you have to have control from the back line. The goalkeeper must be talking to you. And of course, you need to also bring back one of those offensive midfielders that comes back and join the defense whenever you're playing. But today, I didn't see much of that. What happened most times today were that, Awaziem was actually playing very well. I wasn't too convinced about Shewa Bilai. Most times he doesn't play together with the back line. He keeps losing the ball to opponents. So defensively, I wasn't too much convinced. But hey, like I said earlier, these guys just need to understand each other. Each time they come onto the field of play, they must talk to each other. They must understand the way each and every one of them plays, and that's how you can do very well defensively. So I wasn't too convinced with the defensive play today. I was not.
I'll still stay with the defense. Before I go to Cecilia in Lagos. That goal that Cape Verde scored in the 19th minute, was it the defender's fault or the goalkeeper?
Well, you cannot score a goalkeeper at the right corner where he's standing at. So a little bit of the goalkeeper's fault. I mean, you can ask any goalkeeper. The corner you're blocking, you don't expect the ball to go past you. But having said that, the defender, the right back also missed the flight of the ball. So which also gave the Cape Verde player the opportunity to control the ball properly, and then you can see the way he smashed the ball. It went past the goalkeeper at the right corner. He was blocked. He was standing at. So that shouldn't have happened, but of course it happened. So I put the blame on the goalkeeper a little bit, and of course whoever lost the ball in the middle of the park.
And I thought Cecilia would have stopped that ball.
but why? I mean, what we talked about earlier had to do with the cohesion. We always want that. Once you have cohesion in the team, they're playing well. Even if it's by a lone goal, no one is going to complain. But when you're trying to, just trying to understand what they're playing. That's why it's a bit difficult, and that's why most of us are actually worrying. And like, okay, if you don't have Kelechi Iheanacho, for instance, or maybe Ndidi, I mean, who we understand is shield the defense very well, you don't have these two key players, and then you're playing against a bigger nation, for like South Africa, for instance, or Cameroon, because it's the first round of qualifiers. We've not even moved to the second round. So if you're struggling like this, it simply means you have just first 11. You don't have a second 11. We watch England and Hungary and Andorra. We didn't see the same set of players. And we saw how every player actually blended in as if they never left. So that's actually what we want to see with the Super Eagles of Nigeria, not a struggling team. I mean, Cape Verde, less than about 500,000 or 600,000 people. I'm not trying to underrate the team or anything, but this is a country that haven't even been to the World Cup. So we're not mates, so we shouldn't struggle and be saying it was because of luck and that's Somcho's own goal, which I actually admire. I wish it was not an own goal, but then that was actually how we escaped and everything, Austin. So that's just my worry. I just hope that, well, games against, we still have a Central African Republic to play. We also have away at Liberia, and then you also have, of course, home game against Cape Verde. So whatever games we need to play, maybe by then we should get something right, because we can't keep playing like this and hoping that, oh, we'll be lucky to win a game. I don't think that's right.
I totally agree with you, Cecilia. But then again, I think Cape Verde is a decent team. Cecilia, just last year they defeated Cameroon, you know? So they are a team that can upset, you know, any team. Let me get why it's talking, because when I do this discussion, I just put it to the guys who have been there, you know, done that.
Yeah.
Going forward with this Super Eagles team, because we're talking about a World Cup team for us to qualify. Hello, Heidi.
Yeah. Can you repeat that? Yeah, say that again, please.
Okay, I was saying that Cecilia was trying to make us understand why this Super Eagles team shouldn't be struggling.
Okay, I think
11 should be as good as your starting 11. You know.
Well, I'll tell you one thing though. You know, football nowadays is changed a lot. So you can always think about. I mean, you can say anything about the players. You have to also think about how long do they have together to play before they play any of these games. I think they only have maybe like 3 days, 4 days maximum. That also means a lot. I mean, that determines a lot how teams perform most times, you know. So they have to find a way to get these boys to play together for a longer period of time. Until we do that, then we cannot say, oh, the coach is not fearing the best players. I mean, Cecilia mentioned the England team and whatever. Most of their players play in England. They play in the Premiership.
We need to let Waidi Akonigo, because the network is. Yeah. Okay, Cecilia, I think we need to take over the conversation now. Waidi Akonigo, thank you so much for joining us. The connection isn't so tidy, but Cecilia, I get what he's trying to say. He's saying football is changing, and I totally agree. You know, when you look at what happened with Egypt, for instance, Egypt, they won their first game. They drew at Gabon. But the association believes that, look, this is Egypt. Why are we struggling? First, they struggled to beat Angola 1-0, and then they drew with Gabon. And they've sacked him. But why is trying to tell us that football is changing? I'm sure that football fans will want to get out of the Super Eagles.
Because, I mean, kind of Idris, I mean, yes, football is changing. But when you look at, I mean, what Nigerian fans are actually looking at is the crop of players that we have. I mean, most people keep saying, even the US International say, the crop of players that we have right now, we didn't have them like that. Now you can actually get 8 players from the UK.
Can you imagine?
That's playing for for the regular first team.
Yes.
I mean, we don't really have that. We have that now.
Yeah.
And then you also have the ones playing across Europe. Go to Italy, for instance. I mean, Victor Osimhen.
Go to France.
Go to France. I mean, they're all there. Yeah. So if you can put these players together and then play good football, it's worrying. So that's where the issue is.
I think this COVID-19 and taking all the UK-based player back is actually a blessing in disguise. We always talk about Genoro and his way of sticking with his first 11, whether it's a friendly, inconsequential match, important match, it sticks with these players that is known. Now, you want to talk about communication. When was the last time Okoye, Omero, Awazem ever played
Play
together.
See?
But you could see the synergy in Leon Balogun and William Trustekong. When we say, we talk about the Oyinbo War, these guys understand. They are friends because they played so well together. They understand what William understands. Leon is not so fast. Leon understands that when it comes to Williams, he is a charger. And all of this. What does Omero know about Awazem so much? How well does Okoye know these guys? How well does this guy know Shewa Abdullahi? Those are the questions. So when I say General, this is the time you need to use these guys more for some games.
Let's just take a look at what the table is looking like. Yes, it's looking pretty. Yes, no matter what anyone is going to say, we'll take WA and move on. Now, this is what it's looking like. Yes, Nigeria having 6 points after 2 games. So it's really looking good. Liberia 3, Cape Verde, of course, 1, and Central African Republic also a point. We need to go on a break. When we come back, of course, we'll listen to Gareth Southgate talking about retaining the tradition of having the World Cup every 4 years. Welcome back. Time to talk about the Aisha Buhari's Cup. That's the Women's Football Invitational coming up on the 15th of this month. It's no longer 13th. We're all anticipating and waiting for it. But it's going to be on the 15th simply because most of the teams taking part, Morocco, Ghana, South Africa, Nigeria, Cameroon, they all actually want their best players to be around. And that's the reason, because most of their players will not be released like a day before that time. They want to play the weekend before, fixtures before they can come into the country. And because of that, like, okay, since it's FIFA rule, so they just have to move it. They just want the best legs to be around.
Cecilia, if they like, let them postpone it here. I'm patiently waiting. Like, it's so interesting that I'm waiting patiently for any time it gets to start. It's been long I watched the Super Falcons. It's been long I saw women's football at the highest level. And it's the inaugural edition. We understand there will be, some logistics, calculation failing here and there. And then it's COVID-19 period. We understand how this period changes a lot of things. So I'll patiently wait. Postponing look at it, even for 2 days. It's not for 1 week, it's not for 1 month. If they do it for 1 month, Kenny will wait. Yeah, Kenny will wait. And the good news is we already have the lineup. That's the players that will be playing for Nigeria. Our coach Randy Wardrum over the weekend released a list of 23 players, and inside that we have about 3 home-based players making it. That's why the fact that, yes, the girls are on break, but you had to pick 3. Of course, Monday Gift, the poster girl right now of the NWFL, she's a part of the squad, and 2 other players from Edo Queens, so which is a blessing and a good one for the league. Yes, it's not on, but then also, some of these players also making it. Been there. Barnoze, of course, being there, coming back. Everybody's waiting. Will she officially be back? And she is back, and I'm sure she will play. So it's like I said. Yeah, I like Barnoze. I like Onomebi. Azizat is there. Odega is there. We're talking Rita Chikwelu. All of this, I can't wait to watch them play football. They play sumptuous football. I want to watch that again. You say sumptuous football. I'm telling you. Okay, all right. We're not dissing here, but we're just like, okay, trying to just paint a picture of how these girls play whenever they play. See what they did when they went to the US and what they also did when they went for the Turkey Invitational Tournament. So they've really been good. And 2021 has been a huge blessing for women's football. That is why this one is at home. I'm based in Lagos. It's happening in Lagos. So if I vex, if I can get to the stadium and get to see them live. So it is what it is. Women's football should get all of this attention because they do so well for us. Yeah, it should get all the attention, and we're happy that it's actually getting that right now. Let's leave that and quickly move over to the next one, which is the World Cup every 4 years. Now, we've had talks, even NFF President Amanju Pinnick has talked about the fact that, yes, he wanted to be every 2 years. He's supporting FIFA. They just hinted it, and some federations across the continent have been supporting that. But UEFA president, Seferin says, look, he doesn't want that too. But Gareth Southgate, it's someone who says, okay, look, we can do this thing every 4 years. Let's just keep the tradition. That's something that you're like, okay, maybe some people are actually listening and saying, look, let's keep the tradition of having it every 4 years and not break it to 2 years. And maybe there will be too much on the players having to play how many competition every year. Maybe some other federations will have to, other continental bodies will have to also adjust their own
calendar to actually fit into the World Cup if it happens every 4 years? It's kind of a bit tricky.
Southgate was very straightforward with it. He used the word that I like, so let's protect, the tradition that we have of making it quadrennial, competition. It's a lot, maybe FIFA and advocates of making this World Cup every 2 years are looking at the commercial side of it. But the guys who play this football are humans playing their club, they honor national competitions, they do a lot of stuff, and you're trying to make it 2 years now. I think they really need to take a look at it, sit down and see what will come out of it. But FIFA are definitely need to make a decision that will favor, countries, particularly coaches like Gareth Southgate coming out to say, look, now it's a lot, and clubs, some of them. You look at what we're going through at the moment in Nigeria. The UK saying we've put some places as red alert and you cannot travel. Things will come up like that too. No one saw the pandemic, so we should protect. I like that word that Gareth Southgate uses. We should protect the current format that we have with the league, with the World Cup. Let's listen to Gareth Southgate, and when we come back, I'll get Kehinde Idris talking about this.
I can see that the game always needs to evolve and be forward-thinking, but also there are some traditions that are very special and maybe are worth protecting. But I think the biggest thing is that it's a welcome decision to discuss the overall calendar, and that includes the demands on the players in particular, but also we don't need to put more into the calendar. If something's going in, something else has got to come out. So that requires all the governing bodies to get together and make sure that calendar gets sorted out. And there's going to be moments where they're going to have to do that because the Winter World Cup affects a lot of that calendar. So they're looking far enough ahead, I think, that there's no reason why any proposals for the future shouldn't combine major club competitions, major international competitions, and everything that it entails.
So there we have it. It's all about international competitions, and Gareth Southgate is saying, look, let's protect the tradition of having the World Cup every 4 years. Kehinde Idris, let me get you talking with what you've read about this conversation. Is there any point at all, to make the World Cup happen every 2 years?
I think Austin just hit it really. I think in every 4 years, making it every 2 years has to do with commercial angle, really. Cecilia, for me. I think Arsene Wenger started this whole idea, and then FIFA felt, okay, it's a good idea, we talk about this and all of that. But the simple thing is, these guys play a whole lot.
Yeah.
Come this year, 2021, I think about 5-6 players can talk about playing about 80-something games already in the calendar. So let's think about having to have the World Cup already this year. Because if it were to be 2 years, 2018 was one, last year was supposed to be another, so it would have been postponed to this year. I think it will be 2 more. Then going by the words of Tony Cruz, he said, I think we're like puppets in the hand of the football administrators.
They don't even seek their opinion.
You don't even think about the fatigue and all of that. You just come up with your ideas. Do this, do that. Go, soldiers, go do that. These guys also have, have to share in part of the decision making, because they use their energy to execute so many of this, and that is what it is really. I think 4 years is just suitable, and it makes the, maybe I'll say, mystic around the World Cup preserved.
Yeah,
you wait for it.
Like. Yeah,
you wait for it patiently. Yes, 4 years, and we would have the World Cup. But 2 years, I think it will make it some sort of, it's like every other thing. Yes, it's like every other. And this whole World Cup discussion came from the UEFA Champions League stealing the show.
Of course.
At a time, I think about 7 years ago, the discussion started raising dust that the UEFA Champions League is becoming bigger than the World Cup. But one thing they don't know, waiting for the World Cup for 4 years makes it even bigger for anybody. That period of 1 month, everything stands still just to see the World Cup at its gracious level, for it to come and then go. The UEFA Champions League would always, even if you make it every 2 years, the UEFA Champions League is every year. So you still wouldn't compete. Leave it every 4 years.
I think the discussion that most people actually having is the benefit it's going to have. I'm listening.
The commercial benefit.
No, not really commercial
Okay.
benefit. They're thinking about the fact that African players will benefit and so many other things. And I'm like, how? Because these players are not even playing on the continent. How many of them are playing on the continent? The best players we have in Africa are all in Europe. So if the European body is kicking against it, well, I mean, they're going to put it in the vote anyway. That's why you have the feasibility study that is being proposed.
Look at the African Nations Cup. You'd have to struggle to get your players
out. So,
and you know the clubs pay a lot on their players. So if you have competition that takes them away, back and forth, it doesn't pay them really.
It doesn't at all, because as I mentioned earlier, maybe what they will now do is, if the year you're going to be having the European Championships, they won't have the World Cup that year.
What of other competitions?
Maybe you also not have Copa America that year.
You won't have the Nations Cup.
No, you can have the Nations Cup is in January. If we retain January,
they are putting it.
If we retain the
they are
January,
trying to put it in the
still
summer now.
No, they can't. That's why we're going back to January. So if you leave it at January, so it's going to be okay.
And
for
the January already has its own controversy.
Okay. We have to leave this discussion and wait to see if all the continental bodies we agree, because it will be proposed and then we'll see the way it will go. For European governing body to actually kick against it, I'm not sure that 2 years is going to fail, because that's where you have the best players in the world. That's where they're playing. Don't Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, everyone, they're literally there. So if that doesn't sail, so it simply means we'll retain it 4 years, which I love anyway. I mean, the tradition.
There is a Copa America.
Anticipation, wait for it.
Cecilia, this will be too much on the players for me.
Okay, we can't vote. The continental bodies will decide. So that's why it's still a proposal. So let's go to NNL now. Leave that little World Cup and everything. Go to the most important league in Nigeria. I think that Nigerian National League. It started today. Let's just take a look at the result before we have Ama Ignis joining us. This is the media officer of Nigerian National League. Results so far this evening: you have Gombe and Economy Warriors ended in a draw. Insurance of Benin losing 2-1 to 3SC. DMD and Niger Tornadoes ended goalless. And Remo Stars is still on. Well, they're already smashing Ekiti 3-0.
Wow.
That's what it's looking like day one of the promotion playoffs. That's the teams that will get into the Nigeria Professional Football League. That's the NPFL. Economy Warriors and Niger Tornadoes will play in day two. 3SC and Remo Stars will also be in action. You also have Gombe United and DMD and Benin Insurance and Ekiti. Maybe they can bounce back from that opening game defeat to 3SC and see how they can beat Ekiti United, because they actually both said that, look, all they want is that ticket to go to MPFL. But right now, losing your opening game in that playoffs, really not looking so good.
It's not looking so good, really. And Ekiti said so much have been said, but I think Remo is continuing the beautiful stead that we've seen them over the regular season. And I think it's good. Yes, you can be a promising team, but when you meet the proper traditional big teams, you should get the schooling. This is where you gather the experience and come back again. And when you said the NNL is the most important league, I think it's like one of the accolades when you talk God. They are the only givers and takers. They give to the MPFL, they take from the MPFL. So they are a God when it comes to the MPFL. So it's as important. If you do, this is what you say, you do it so well, and you understand that the teams promoting are formidable teams. Also, if you're getting demoted to the NNL, you're coming to a tough place. So if you have to promote back, you just must step on your game. So it's very important, really. And I'm enjoying what is happening already.
And Austin, 3SC happens to be one team that can easily go up and come down. It's so easy for them to do it almost every time. And we don't get tired of it, because once they're down there, we know that our focus will be there because of how big the club used to be, if I can use that word.
It's not just even 3SC. In the last 2-3 seasons, you see Remo, you see Bendel Insurance, also get in the league, and then they go back. Warriors is actually trying to even get into that, category now. But a shout out to our Shooting Stars and the level of consistency that they've shown in the NNL this season. They've shown intent from the start of the season, and now they really want to gain that promotion. I think they will, not just Shooting Stars, Bendel Insurance, and what a way to start it, because it's some sort of rivalry between both clubs. They've got rich tradition, and they're playing the sort of football that some persons want to see. And again, the state government doing what it can to make sure that they reposition these clubs, talking about Shooting Stars and Verde Insurance. But shout out to Remo. They're slaughtering Ekiti United. It's going to be a fight. This is a fight to get to the top flight of Nigerian football. So if Ama Ignis is ready, let's talk about the Nigerian National League Super 8 that is going on. Ama, good evening. Welcome to Sports Tonight.
Thank you so much, Austin Okonakpan, my in-law. How are you?
I'm awesome. Good to have you on the show. Let's talk about day one of the NNL Super 8. Ama, what is it that you know that we don't know?
Well, a lot is happening here. Perhaps you already know that the Super 8 is on. It's a busy atmosphere here. We're playing under floodlight here as Remo Stars are battling it out with Ekiti United. Don't forget, Remo Stars topped their group B2 and Ekiti United were the shock qualifiers in B1 where Shooting Stars took the lead. It's been an exciting sports fiesta, if you ask me. I call this a festival because this is a celebration of the best teams in the Nigerian National League. We keep saying it is the most important league. There are many reasons why we say that. We're happy we have started in earnest. We flagged off with the first match between Gombe and El Kanemi Warriors. Tight match, if you were here to see it live, it ended 1-1. And the second game was also one that came with high expectations. The Edo Arsenals, Verde Insurance, you know them, these are traditional teams then, the Nigeria Premier League, and of course Shooting Stars, 7-time winners of the Nigerian national competition, the FA Cup. It was tight, but in the end, Shooting Stars made it 2-1 to take all maximum points. And then the third game was rather a game that a lot of people never gave DMD, the team from Borno, a chance to hold almighty Niger Tornadoes. I call Niger Tornadoes almighty because they had a sweeping run in their group to a match tops. And a lot of people expected that the Tornadoes under Coach Bala, one of the veteran coaches, you wouldn't take that away from him in the Nigerian Professional League before he dropped. Remember, he has also tutored teams like Qualifier United, and they played goalless. As we talk now, it's looking like a mincemeat for Remo, who are, of course, dealing with Ekiti United, who appear not to withstand the pressure being mounted by Remo Stars. But we want to thank a lot of people who have been here today. The Enugu State Government, the Commissioner for Sports was here, Obi Nogba, our chairman, who was also still here, or who is still here, and the rest of the soccer fans here in Enugu who have seen the opportunity to watch football. We have to ensure that a few of these clubs brought in their 50 allowed supporters who start sparsely to also cheer because football is being ruled with passion. The deal here is that the NNL has started, and we are grateful. We've had no hitches so far. The games have run smoothly, very smoothly here at the Cathedral. They say it's a place of worship, but what do we worship? It's football that comes with the passion that flows in all our blood.
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good. I don't know how much time we have, Cecilia, before we go on the next break, but we might get Amma to talk for a minute.
Yeah, I think we need to go on a break, Amma. So when we come back, we'll just give you 1 minute to wrap it up. All right, Amma, I'll just ask you one final question. It's more like speculations everywhere, but maybe you will have to give a clearer picture of it. It's the story of the officiating, that the referees from the north are officiating the teams from the north, and the one from the south officiating the teams from the south. How true is that story?
Well, Cecilia, this game comes with a lot of tempers flying. You know, if you are a supporter of a particular team, a lot of tempers that fly. When you do not, what you expect from your team doesn't happen. When you see some action, judgment being taken by a referee, you begin to wonder why it happened. That's not really so. We have the big wigs of the NRA here. Zubeiru is here. He's a veteran FIFA referee, and they are here. We have match assessors. also watching these referees, I have to personally talk to Zubeiru and a few of them who think the referees have done excellently well. Though they may not be completely perfect because they've been humans. Matches have been fixed not knowing which team is involved. The thing is that the NRA has decided to ensure, because Chief Obinogba did say it yesterday even at the draws, that the referees must be on top of their game. They must ensure that they take the best decisions. That's not really the true picture. The thing here is that the referees have a game, have a task to perform, to give us good officiating. I think so far so good. Okay. It's not been really bad. There might be a few standing decisions.
Okay.
When Academy Warriors take over Tornadoes, and of course 3SC hosts Remo Stars, and Gombe United play DMD, and then Bendel Insurance, who played the last match under floodlight against the Ekiti United, will have a more better officiating. But if you ask me to score the referees today, I think they have done above 80% for me.
Okay, but do we have North officiating North and South officiating South? Is it true? That's the story, right? Okay. I just want to get out here.
Is a mixture of referees.
Okay, all right, okay.
It's not about where they come from. It's about are they able to do that.
All right, Amma, I want to thank you so much for taking our time to join us. We understand that the game is still on. Maybe we can give you guys the result before we leave the studio because we are actually running out of time. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this evening. Let's quickly talk about the return of the Paralympians. Yes, the first batch return, talking about the powerlifters who came out with about 6 medals. And then you have the table tennis team and also the track and field athletes, all of them coming touching down in Lagos just yesterday. It was a rousing welcome for them. They were really happy, to see Nigerians, welcoming them because it doesn't happen so often. But this time around, they have, the supporters clubs, some journalists and some dignitaries from the ministry, all of them right here, welcoming them because this team, 22, went for the competition and they came back with 10 medals. So it's huge and it's a good one for these athletes.
Sometimes when we talk about how massive this is, I ask myself, do I even use the right adjectives? do I describe it so well? This is 10 medals at the Olympics level. Yeah. 4 gold medals, 1 silver, 5 bronze medals. This is something that I can beat my chest and say, in another 3-4 Olympics, the normal Olympics might not be able to clinch.
Paralympics and Olympics.
No, even Paralympics can double what they did now if things are being put in place for them. I'm talking of even the regular Olympics.
Okay.
Beat 10 medals, win 4 gold medals.
Wait for 2024. Austin, what do you think?
We're waiting,
wait for 2024.
And I hope they do that. Really, I wish them well. But I'm saying these Paralympians, I think we should run out of adjective in describing the heroics of what they do out there for us.
Yeah, so let's listen to Kole's show before Austin will chip in because he's really happy that, yes, the reception they got was really massive.
I want to say a very big thank you for this kind of reception. We appreciate everything after going to represent the country and making the country proud. We say a very big thank you to everyone, the president of the country, the president of our federation, our chairman. The experience in Tokyo was a very wonderful one. A lot of lessons, a lot of new things that we learned. They were actually they are very wonderful people, the Japanese. They welcomed us very well. The hospitality was second to none. We had a very wonderful time. The federation actually prepared us well for everything. Everything that we needed was provided at the games by the federation. It was a wonderful experience, actually.
Yep. Wonderful experience.
Wonderful
for Ahmed Kole. So, yeah.
Yeah, good one for para table tennis in Nigeria. And look, when this sort of things happens, when we come back to the country, we must consolidate. Remember when we spoke to Tajuddin, he called for infrastructure development. That the table tennis board they play with, they got to Tokyo, they saw advanced ones. And we keep saying this, that the behavior of the ball will change when it meets technology, So these are some of the things these guys are asking for, and we want to call on the ministry, the federation, at the states level. Everyone should come together and support this special athletes.
All right. That's it. That's it for us, Austin, because we have to leave the show right now. Enough commercials to play. Idris, thank you so much for coming on the program.
It's lovely. I said at the start that the lineup is so
It's
sumptuous
loaded.
and it's really loaded. Love it.
Thank you for coming. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe from Lagos. Have a great night rest.
In London, I'm Austin Okonakwan. In everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.